Okay? And it looks like we are live. Okay, well, here I am hoping that there are some viewers, some participants. So if anybody is watching, please say a little hello. You can type in the chat, hi. That would be much appreciated. So we're going to wait just for probably a minute for some other students to tune in, and then we will commence with our lecture today. And as you can see by this PPT, we're going to be talking about the Olympics, but not only the Olympics, also some sports-related expressions, as well as how to compare things. So when I think of the Olympics, I think of competition, people trying to go higher, be faster, lift something heavy, so be stronger, being the best. So words like this, higher, faster, stronger, the best. These are the words we're going to look at today, a little bit later in the grammar section. Good. I see some people in the chat. Great. So hello, good afternoon. Oh, wow. I'm really happy to see many returning students. As you may know, I took a short break from live lectures for a semester, but now I'm back and I'm really happy to be back because I get to interact with you. And Jenny, MJ, wow. Kathleen, this is great. And to any new students, new to my stream or just new to the university, a big welcome to you. And I can't wait to get to know you better. So we'll begin now. We're talking about the Olympics and it is a dialogue. So I would love for you to type as much as you can, as much as you want to interact with me. So don't be shy. Answer a question, share your comment, your opinion. It would be great. So we'll begin with some warm-up questions. This is your chance to tell me your opinion. So the first question is simply, are you a big fan of the Olympics? Do you enjoy watching the Olympic Games? Or are you just not interested in the Olympics? Maybe you don't care very much for sport, and that's okay. On the other hand, you may be very interested in the Olympics. So, yes or no? Why or why not? I'll definitely give you a little bit of time to type your response. Get those fingers moving. Kathleen says, I spent 2 weeks only for the Olympics. My TV only showed the games. So I'm under the impression, based on your message, that you could only watch the Olympics, nothing but the Olympics, due to your television only showing the Olympics, whether you like the Olympics or not. Good answer. Perfect English. Okay, anyone else? Big fan? Not a big fan? Just a little interested in the Olympics? Yes, N says, Netflix is boring. So I watched the Olympics. Again, great message. And I'm curious why Netflix is so boring. Perhaps you've already watched all of the contents, all of the series, all of the films. So you moved on to the Olympics. That's my impression as well. Jenny is a big fan of the Olympics. She watched the 2020 Olympic Games. Perfect. Love both summer and winter because the games are different. Yes, quite different. I love to watch swimming, running, fencing, etc. Yes, lovely answer. Thank you. Good. And we have Autumn. I think just the professor is the one who is the most excited about the Olympics. Well, that may be the case. So I will answer the question myself. I'm a moderate to potentially big fan of the Olympics, but in particular, the Winter Olympics. And we'll talk about that a bit later. So, did you watch the 2020 games? I think we've already answered that. Most of you indicated being aware of these games, watching some of them. We'll move on to, in your opinion, do your country's athletes do well in the Olympics? So, just mentioning in case we need to know, athletes relates to the sports players, correct? So, another way to ask this question, so does Korea's athletes, do they do well in the Olympics? Are they good? Are they not so good in your opinion? Are you proud of them? Are you not that impressed? What do you think? If I were to answer about my country, Canada, I would say that the athletes of Canada generally do well in the winter games, but not so much in the summer games. Because as you can easily assume, because Canada is a country with a very long winter, lots of snow, we have more experience training for winter sports. Yes, okay, now back talking about Korea, we have students saying, of course, Korea's athletes have done a fantastic job, have done very well. They did their best. I'm impressed. Yes, yes. I really enjoyed watching the gymnastics. I watched the game where, I forget his name, unfortunately, but it was a Korean man who won in the gymnastics section. Also in archery, wow. This year, Korea really did well in archery, right? This one, archery. As well, I want to say fencing. There was at least one gold medal in fencing. Great job. Kathleen says, Korean athletes do well. Whether they got good results or bad results, their passion and effort proves they did so well. I do agree with you. Yes, yes. It's what matters in the Olympics, how hard you try. Good. And correct, Autumn, I agree with you so much. Every player did so well regardless of their medals. Oh, of course. I mean, just to enter the Olympics, you're already a very elite athlete, very top level athlete. So we're definitely proud of our country's athletes. Good. Okay, a little bit of a debate question. Which is better, the winter or the summer games? So we can also call them the Winter Olympics, the Summer Olympics, equally fine. Winter games, summer games. So which one is better? Which one do you prefer and why? Love them all. Great answer. And from earlier, I'm getting some messages about the women's volleyball team. Wow, they really did a fantastic job under, I think it's Kim Yoon Kyung. She is just a phenomenal athlete. Really great job. So I did enjoy that event in the Summer Olympics, but as I mentioned earlier, I do prefer the Winter Olympics over the Summer Olympics. Any other thoughts? And speaking of winter, actually, the last Winter Olympics were held here in Korea. So that was a really great experience to be able to travel to Pyeongchang and see a lot of events live. And I'm sure a lot of you were able to travel there as well. So if you have a little story or experience, feel free to share. Somebody, oh yes, N it is. I need my glasses. N says, I love the winter ones. It's exotic. Great word, exotic. It's so unique, so different. Great. And Kathleen cannot choose, but I can tell you'd love winter because you're from Canada. Correct. I love winter. Definitely. Okay, so keep the messages coming in. I realize there might be a small delay between what I speak and the time that you hear my words, and by the time that I see your messages in the comments, we might have a 4-second delay or something, but I'll still read your comments, so keep them coming. Our last warm-up question is, what is your favorite Olympic event and why? So which event do you prefer the most? The event refers to, of course, the sport being played. You can see some very small icons taken from the 2020 Olympics, and these represent only some of the events. Of course, I believe that there are over 50. So among them, which one is your favorite? And I just saw Jenny's message about my earlier question. Loving both winter and summer. And Jenny started loving Winter Olympics since figure skating. Athletics, yes, with Kim Yuna, who won the gold medal. Oh yes, that is so historic and so beautiful. Even I remember that moment too. Quite a while ago, but yes, I can see why you would start supporting the Winter Olympics more after such a historic win. Great answer. Okay, anybody else? Best event? Any answers for that question? Maybe it can be assumed as a Canadian, as someone who loves hockey, or sorry, I just said it, loves winter. I love hockey. So that's my favorite event. Okay, the fire bringing. Oh, yes. So that could be called, as a part of the ceremony, the lighting of the Olympic flame, the lighting of the Olympic torch. Good. We can call that an event. I don't know what the word is. Running with fire. We can call that the torch relay. I'll type it. Now I understand perfectly. This one, right? The Olympic flame, also called the Olympic torch. And you're relaying it. So you're running, passing it from person to person. And maybe you even experienced it yourself here in Korea 2 years ago. So fire bringing, sure, you can say that as well. Torch is a good substitute for fire in this case. I love the opening ceremony. Yes, me too. Among the events, it shows each country's own culture and traditions. So interesting. I agree. Well said. And Hyunju says artistic swimming. Artistic swimming is very beautiful to watch. I agree with you. Seeing the athletes, or the swimmers, in this case the swimmers, basically performing dance or gymnastics in the water, right? They move their bodies in such a splendid way. I love to watch the opening ceremony of the host country. Yes, it's so interesting to see how each city prepares their opening and closing ceremonies. Japan's one was very unique due to COVID-19. Yes, definitely. We can definitely talk about that a bit later, but we're going to move on now to a little bit of reading as well as some trivia. So here you can see on my screen a series of icons, but we could also call them pictographs. So maybe you're familiar with some of these pictographs. Pictograph means a picture that gives information, that gives a meaning. An example of a pictograph from our daily lives would be the washroom symbol. So men's room, woman's toilet, man's toilet, like this, that little icon, stick figure usually. So those are pictographs. We have many pictographs for Olympic events. I'm wondering if anyone in the chat can identify pictograph number 1. So what does pictograph number 1 represent in English? What's the name of that event? I'll give you a few seconds to type it. Archery! So fast. You do not need much time, okay? Correct. That is archery, which of course Korea does so well in. Excellent, guys. Okay, number 2. It was mentioned as my favorite sport. Yes, hockey. Good, good. Looks a little like golf, but we'll go with hockey here. How about number 3? Ice hockey. Yes, yes. Perfect, perfect. We've got some answers still coming in. And how about number 3? What does that look like? That triangle. It looks like there's somebody riding on that triangle. Sailing, correct, and you are indeed correct. Good job. Sailing, which I didn't know was an event. There are so many sports. How about number 4? This, in fact, is a new addition. So this was newly added, and Kathleen, correct, climbing. So we could also call it the sport climbing. Same meaning. Good, good. And number 5, a very, very quintessential event in the Olympics, right? A lot of people over the years have trained for this event. And the triathlon. Lovely. Great, great work. Okay. Next, we're going to have a little more trivia. The question is, what were the 4 new sports that were added to the 2020 Tokyo Olympics? Now, this doesn't mean a sport with a modification or something added. It means totally new. And we already mentioned one totally new sport earlier. That was a hint. So try your best to name 4 of the new sports. Or maybe just one. What seemed new? Yes, skateboarding, correct. Yes, the sport climbing, also correct. Any others? It's a hard question, so I will reveal the answer. I won't keep you in suspense. So we have surfing, actually. Oh, and Jenny said it. Yay! Great. Oh, and karate. Yes, everyone named them. Perfect, perfect. Yes, surfing, skateboarding, sport climbing, and karate. Okay. A little bit longer this time. How often are the Olympics held? Well, the Summer and Winter Olympics alternate every something years. They alternate. Now, alternate, if you're a little confused about this word, it just means change, right? They revolve, they change. The spelling is the same with the noun and the verb. So in the noun form, it's an alternate. But this is the action word. We say alternate. Small difference. And let's see. Yes. Oh, great answers, everyone. Indeed, they alternate every 2 years. So because of the delay in the 2020 Summer Games, the 2022 Winter Games will follow the Tokyo Olympics by only 6 months. So that's just due to the coronavirus. As you know, the 2020 Olympics were held, in fact, in 2021. But the Summer Games will return in its normal schedule in 2024. Great job. And where will the future games be held? So I think we may know these answers, but which city will host the Winter Games in 2022? Notice how you can say 2022, but it's so long, we shorten it. 2022. So this city, they will actually become the first city to host both the Summer and Winter Games. And N got it first, correct? And it will be Beijing, correct? Because the Summer Games were in Beijing there in 2008. Now, 2008, that's okay too. You could say '08 as well if you're speaking a bit informally, but 2008. The Summer Games will be where in 2024 or 2024. So after Beijing, we have the Summer Olympics. In which city? Kathleen, yes, you are correct, Kathleen. That will be in Paris. Lovely, lovely answers, everyone. Okay, moving on. Now we're going to look at our final bit of information about the Olympic flag. All right. It was presented in 1920. The flag contains 5 interconnected rings, so attached, with a white background. The rings symbolize, so they represent 5 continents, as shown here. But of course, these are not the only continents in the world, right? But Antarctica wasn't included, and we can see that the Americas include both North America and South America. So that's how they got 5. They shrunk it down to 5. So this symbolizes and encourages friendship through international competitions in sport. The ring colors, we've got blue, yellow, black, green, and red. And these colors were chosen because of what reason? What do you think? Why these colors, blue, yellow, black, green, red? Why not purple, pink, magenta, orange? Why do you think it's these 5 colors in particular? So, give me your opinion, your best guess. What do you think? This is a hard question, in fact. So I'll give about 5 more seconds, and then I'll reveal. Oh, well, we already have our answer in the chat. Lovely. Jenny, you are correct, because it represents the national flag's colors of the world, right? And says beautiful colors. They are beautiful. Oh, elements. Sehok, that's so smart. I've never thought of that, but that could be related as well, especially how the elements could be what influenced the colors originally on these flags. So I like that as well. Yeah. So, but we'll go with this answer here. So they were chosen because at least one of these colors shows up on every country in the world. So every country's flag, at least one color from that is represented here with one of these rings. Yeah, that's right, Sehab. Water, fire, stone or earth, tree. Maybe there's air as well. That could be the 5th. I think you're on to something. I'll have to do some research later. Good answer. Okay, let's change our topic slightly, but do you happen to know any expressions, any phrases, any idioms about sports? So any sports idioms, any saying that you know. For example, drawing from baseball, we can hit a home run. If you hit a home run, it means that you did something very well. You did a good job. So that's an example of a sports idiom. Do you happen to know any others? In fact, there are a lot of idioms that come from baseball. Crack the record. Good. To crack the record is to break the record. So someone who breaks the record or cracks the record, they establish a new record, right? So something that they did better or faster. Good, good. So record breaker. Another that comes to my mind is to strike out. So strike out is when you swing the bat so many times in baseball, but you're not able to hit the ball and your turn is over. So that represents failing. You did not do a good job. I could say, I struck out last weekend when I played, let's say tennis, or I struck out at my job interview. I failed my job interview. Jenny, good one. Yes, across the board cards or across the scorecards too. It just means like generally, globally, considering all options. All across the board, like this. Good, good. Keep them coming. But I have two that I'd like to share with you today. Maybe you've heard of this one before. Expression one is neck and neck. Maybe it sounds strange. This is our neck, right? Something is neck and neck, however, when something or two things in competition are very close to each other, meaning any competitor can win. When you look at these two horses, right? They were coming toward the finish line neck and neck. Neck and neck. Native speakers, when we speak quickly, we say neck in neck, neck in neck, like that. So we don't know if the brown horse or the blue horse will win. It's looking like a tie, but maybe one will eventually succeed. An example from politics. This is taken from a newspaper showing a past U.S. presidential election. As you can see, 46% and 46%. Mitt Romney and Obama, they're tied. They're neck in neck. We don't know who will win. Well, in fact, we do know the winner in hindsight, but that's the expression neck and neck. And I'm wondering if you can use neck and neck in a sentence. So if you would like to type your own sample sentence, I would love to check it and read it. So try this out yourself. Make a sentence with neck and neck. We could say, the Korean women's volleyball team was neck in neck with, let's say, the Turkish team or the American team. Or in the final inning, in the final round of baseball, let's say again, the Korean team was neck and neck with America. So we don't know who the winner will be. So close. Perfect. Yes, Jenny. Well done. The two boys ran toward the finish line neck and neck. Great. I love it. Sehyuk, you're correct. It's like saying 50-50. Yes. Well done. Good, good, good. And our next one. Maybe you've heard of this one before. Stiff competition. Now, stiff is a word that means very solid, okay? So my pen here is very stiff. It's very rigid. It won't break or bend easily. Maybe the opposite of stiff would be this wavy piece of paper. It's not stiff. It can be easily torn. So stiff competition would mean that the competition is very, very fierce, very tough. When we apply it to the job market, we could say, oh, I don't know if I will get the job that I interviewed for. There's some pretty stiff competition. And here, the stiff competition, the competition means the other people who are also applying for the same job. Or you could say, there was stiff competition between those two countries in the marathon, in the running event at the Olympics. So that's another one. You can definitely try it out. So in the chat, please make a sample sentence if you'd like, and I'll spend a moment to catch up on some of the messages coming in. Jen made a great sentence earlier about neck and neck. Starbucks and Blue Bottle coffee is neck and neck. Perfect, perfect. But for me, my true love will always be Starbucks. Just my opinion. But I was one of those people who, in fact, lined up and waited in line for around 2 hours when Blue Bottle first opened in Korea. And I felt a little disappointed by having to wait so long for a cup of coffee. It was delicious coffee. It was great, but I didn't enjoy waiting. So hence my preference for Starbucks. Okay. Fierce competition. Yes, Jenny, you're correct. Sehyuk says, this World Cup season might be stiff competition to Korea. Yes, very good. Stiff competition 2 or 4. Both are good. The two companies, says Jenny, are in stiff competition with each other. Perfect. Yes. Even though the stiff competition is coming, never give up. Right, so tough competition is coming your way. Good luck fighting. Oh, and says, I was not a stiff competition in previous company. Oh, so you could also say, instead of talking about yourself, because I'm sure that you were very competitive, meaning you were very good at what you did in this case, you could say, there was not much stiff competition in my previous company, or there was not stiff competition in my previous company. Okay, good. Everyone understands this quite well. So we'll talk a little bit once more about the Olympics. Here we have the motto. The motto meaning the saying, the slogan of the Olympics. It is written originally in Latin. We have Citius, Altius, Fortius. And do you know how we translate that into English? What is the English version of this motto? What do you think? Thinking back to the Olympics. What do we say? And if you happen to know a little bit of Latin, it could help you out here. Good answer. Yes, Jenny says faster, higher, stronger, which is correct. So small moment of Latin. If you look here, this doesn't look, Citius doesn't look like the word faster, but actually this translates better in English as swifter. Swifter. So I'll type it here. To be swift. Swifter, swiftest. Swift means very, very, very fast. Extremely fast. And light. Like fast, light. Like this. But I think that the word swift is just not as often used in English. So we just translated it to faster instead. Altius. Think of altitude, right? Height. The height of something. The altitude at the top of the mountain. So that becomes higher. And fortius, this one, think of something that is forte, stronger. So if you play music, maybe you know about the forte, being loud, being strong, right? So that's how these words eventually made their way into English. And you'll notice one more thing about the slogan: faster, higher, stronger. E-R, E-R, E-R. Can you guess what our grammar point will be? Words like faster, higher, stronger. Do you know what the word is, the grammatical term for these ER words? Comparison. Yes, good job. Correct. So we're going to now jump into a little comparison. We're going to look at our comparatives and our superlatives. I don't want to spend too much time explaining these rules, but we'll read through them very quick. the comparative and superlative. We use our comparative when we have two nouns, two things, right? So my sister and me, two. My sister is older than me. So ER when there are two things being compared. They're usually following a rule where the shorter words, shorter not in length always, but in sound, okay? So one syllable, like tall, what else do we have? Short, big, like this, ER. But if we have a longer sounding word, intelligent, beautiful, recent, handsome, like this, sounds longer. We use the word more. I think dogs, that's one thing, more intelligent than cats. But if we're using the word smart instead of intelligent, dogs are smarter than cats. It takes a while to get used to this, but it's how we have to do it in English. And I'm sure that you've had a lot of practice already. Now, superlative means the highest, the most. So that refers to when we're comparing many, many, many things, not only two. So superlatives are used when two items or more are being compared. Example, the best dancer in the group. The group implies many, many people are there. It's a group. And you have the best dancer. Now we have irregular forms all of the time in English. We need to remember we say good, gooder, no, good, better, best. Okay, remember that. Bestest, not necessary, okay? So just remember good, better, best. The opposite, bad, worse, and worst. And as you can see here, we have a very short list. The most important thing that you need to remember is just the shorter sounding words, ER, EST. The longer words take a more or a most. And I have a little bit of a small grammar check. Please type A or B. So with number 1, what do we say? I am taller than my brother, or I am the tallest my brother, or I am more taller than my brother. No. Many native speakers make that mistake. More ER, but we don't need that. It's extra words, not necessary. Yes, of course, everybody said A. You are correct. This is too easy for you. How about number 2? She is something student in her class. So the class is a group. Correct, the youngest. Yes, she is the most youngest. Not necessary. Good. Okay, number 3, we'll speed through. We'll go through it quickly. The dog is the cat. A, B, or C? Yes, definitely older. The dog is more older? No. Okay. The red jacket is something the blue jacket. A, B, or C? This red jacket is, yes, B, more expensive than. Excellent. Number 5, my mother is in her family. Again, family suggests a group. So she would be. Good job. C, the shortest. Sometimes a native speaker will chop off the, but to be safe in your speaking, always include the, because we need our definite article the, so it puts focus on shortest. So we need to say she is the shortest in her family. In some cases, you can cut it off, but it's not a good habit because then you might cut off the when you truly need the. And in formal writing, you definitely need to follow grammar rules and you should keep the. So always remember the with your superlative, okay? Good. Okay, just 2 more remain. I like sushi, but Chinese food actually is... What do you think? We have 2 things here, sushi and Chinese food. Yes. Chinese food is better. Okay. Definitely spoken orally, you could hear this. The bestest. This is incorrect grammatically. Many children say it, or people can say it if they're trying to be cute. People play with language a lot. You might hear it in a pop song, but it is not, in fact, grammatical. So don't say the bestest. And again, more better. We are adding more words that we do not need. Some native speakers and a lot of my advanced students would say Chinese food is more better than Japanese food. But even if native speakers sometimes make this mistake, it doesn't make it right. So please don't say more better. Try to catch that. Okay? My drink is something among all the drinks, among all the other drinks. Correct. We have, it is the coldest. Yeah, and here again, we don't need the most and coldest. That's 2 levels of superlative. We don't need that. So just there, the coldest. Good job. And our last question. This one is maybe the most challenging. So these books are something, those other books. We have 2 groups of books. These books right here, those other books over there. So what do we say? Yes, I couldn't trick you. More expensive than. Great work, everyone. Okay, so why don't we play a little bit of a game, typing game. So in this case, what I'll be doing is a daily life Olympics. I'll be asking you a question, and I want you to answer me in a full sentence. If you can add more information. But we're going to be talking about comparing people in our lives. Okay? So if I asked you, who is the most intelligent person that you know? What would your answer be? I'd love to hear from you. So think about your daily life, compare all of the people that you know, and reply. Who's the smartest person that you know? Who's the most intelligent person that you know? You, Professor. Oh, no. I appreciate the flattering compliment. However, I am not the smartest person I know. I would choose, in fact, my sister, my younger sister in Canada. She's a classical musician. Her brain works in a different way from mine. She's highly intelligent in order to be able to play the complex music that she does. So she's the most intelligent person that I personally know. And in your case, Jenny says, I think Bill Gates is the most intelligent person I know. Do you know him personally? So here, I'll give you a quick English tip. Your current sentence suggests that you and Bill Gates are like friends. You hang out together. So you can instead say 1 word difference that I know of. To know someone is to really know. To know of something is to have like a general knowledge of it, but not totally personal. So, like, I know of a good restaurant in France. I know of a good violinist in Prague. Like, I know their name. I know about them, but I don't actually interact with them. So that's a small tip. And Suhyun says, my husband, that's so sweet. Very nice answer. Great job. Okay. And we have, oh yes, King Sejong is the most intelligent person ever to have lived in Korea. Yes, for creating the writing system, among many other inventions. And yes, perfect sentence, Suhyun. My husband is the most intelligent person for me. Good. And you're welcome, Jenny. Your English is great. So just small tip. Okay. And my husband is the most intelligent person I know of. Yeah, you can say that too. In your case, that just means that, well, now we have some conflicting ideas because obviously I know you know your husband. So the meaning here suggests, among everyone that you generally know, he's definitely the most intelligent. Semantics. English is hard. Okay, who is the strongest person you know? So again here, you know is personally, but if you want to name someone you don't actually know, put know of. There you go. Strongest person that you know, physically, so maybe strength. You also have like mental strength, like this, emotional strength. So it can be interpreted various ways, but I just mean really the strongest person who can lift the, I don't know, the most. So who's the strongest person you know? In my case, maybe my boxing gym instructor. He also lifts weights. He looks like he's a very strong person and he can do a lot of push-ups. So I think he's the strongest person that I know. And how about for you? I think Changmiran, a Korean athlete, is the strongest person that I know of. Perfect. Yes, you did it very well. Okay, good. That I know of, I have seen some YouTube videos of, I think his name is Kim Stungun or Stungun Kim. He's a very tall, I think UFC or jiu-jitsu fighter, so martial artist. I've seen him on YouTube. So he might be one of the strongest Korean athletes that I know of. That would be my guess. Okay, anyone else? All right, we will move on to a little bit of a funny question. Who is the best dressed person in your family? Now, the grammar here might look a little complicated, but we can't say the best dresser. It's a little bit uncomfy. The best dressed means the person who wears clothes in the best way. Most fashionable, same meaning. Who is the most fashionable person in your family? So among your family members, choose the person. You could say, oh, I'm easily the best dressed person in my family. I love fashion. I love shopping. Or in my case, I would say, again, my sister is the best dressed person in my family because she spends a lot of time on the internet, going through lookbooks, selecting outfits that she wants to wear. Okay, and let's check back in with the comments. Suhyun, Ajuma is the strongest person. So like a Korean middle-aged woman or married woman. I do agree with you, if that's your joke. My mom is the most fashionable person in my family. Perfect English and a nice compliment to your mom. My first daughter is the best dressed in my family. Well said, Jennifer. Perfect. Good sentence. And we have Suhyun, my daughter is the best dressed in my family. Okay, there seems to be a theme of women being the best dressed here. Any males? Any husbands or brothers? All right. Now, who is your wealthiest? Wealthiest, meaning your richest friend. Who is so rich? Who has the most money among your friends? Do you have a super rich friend? Or maybe none of your friends really have a lot of money. Maybe you're friends with someone who takes very expensive vacations and they buy designer handbags all the time. Do you have anyone that you could name? In my case, no, I do not, unfortunately. Although maybe in Canada, perhaps my best friend growing up was my wealthiest or richest friend, but not an extreme level of wealth, just, her parents bought her a brand new car on her 16th birthday, that kind of thing. So maybe she's my wealthiest friend. We have, I am the richest among my friends, Jennifer says. So I am the richest in my friend group, you can say. I'll type it. Richest in my friend group, or I am the richest among all of my friends. And actually, that could be a burden for you, because sometimes if you're the one in the group with the most amount of money, then maybe people could be asking you, oh, please buy this for me. Please pay for dinner. So it, with lots of power comes lots of responsibility, as they say. Okay. We have, recently I got to know one foreign friend. She is from Canada. She says she has stayed in Korea for 5 years without a job. I think she is the richest person that I know. I would agree with you, because I do not know how you could live, particularly if she's living in Seoul, how you could live in a big city in a, very wealthy, developed country like Korea with no income. Maybe she has some rich parents supporting her. Anyway, good for her. Jennifer, you're welcome. And says, when people are paying money in a restaurant, all of my friends become beggars, people who beg for money. Oh, I understand that. Good. My friends and I are the wealthiest in each life. Sure. All right. Oh, and we are running out of time. So I'll leave you with our final question just for fun, and then we'll wrap up. So our last Olympic question, not about people you personally know, although maybe you do know somebody famous personally, but in your opinion, who is the most beautiful actress or the most handsome actor in Korea? So the best looking actor or actress in Korea. I'd love to see some of your comments. And again, you could use the know of here, like Hyunbin is the most handsome actor that I know of, right? Or Hyunbin is the most handsome actor in all of the world in Korea, like this. Lee Sojin is the most handsome actor forever. Good answer, good answer. And I know who you're talking about. And I do agree with you. Forever, I can't say, but he is certainly attractive. Good. Anybody else? Shouting out to some beautiful people here in Korea. Okay. Gongyu, I hope I said that well. Gongyu is the most handsome actor. I am a big fan of Gongyu. Good. And I'm a big fan of your English. That was a perfect sentence. I think the most beautiful actress is Yoon Yo-jung. I hope I said that well. Minari is main actress. Minari. Wait. Is she the older woman? The really, really talented actress who plays the grandmother, or the mother? Because both women are beautiful. I'm just trying to imagine which woman you're referring to. The old actress, oh, she's a delight. She is such a lovely actress, and I really like her attitude. She's really witty, like very quick. she makes comments in such a funny and still intelligent way. Like I love hearing her speak in English. Great, great. Okay, well, it looks like we are out of time today. Thank you so much for coming. I really enjoyed our time here together. And if you have any question, feel free to leave a comment. And what I'd like to say is enjoy your Saturday. And if you have not eaten, please eat something delicious. Have a good lunch. And I will be back here. So same time next Saturday, 12 p.m. And we'll do something in the same way, same format. I'll be talking about hometowns. So hometown expressions, and a small grammar point as well. So I really enjoyed our time here today. Thank you so much. Enjoy yourselves. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.